We are homicide investigators, and that's what we do. We represent the dead.
One of God's 10 commandments is, thou shalt not kill. We work for God.
In Newark, New Jersey, a grieving sister turns to the only cops who can track her brother's killers 9 years after he is laid to rest. The case leads to a new mystery, the disappearance of another man, unrelated, with the same last name.
For whatever reason, the case went cold, and there was no satisfaction. Sometimes people just don't want to get involved.
Sometimes all they need is a little time.
Time has a way of changing people. Time has a way of changing the heart.
Now, time catches up with the killers. The cold case detectives have a primary suspect in the Reynaldo Lopez murder case. Mima Cordero denies any knowledge of Lopez's murder, but she hints at another, a body buried in a basement.
We took like a team back. It was like a football team, like, can I talk to you for a minute? And we left her in the room to stew for a minute.
And I said, you hear what she said? She know about a buried body in the basement. That this woman came out and just mentioned that she knew about a buried body. That blew us away.
Tell us about this body. Where?
We're death investigators, and our thing is to find out, what is she talking about now? Who's the person that's buried? Who buried this person? How do you know this? Are you a part of that?
Mima implicates her common-law husband, Misael, and his partner, Javi.
That him? The relationship that she had with the suspect, Cordero, it had changed from good to bad.
Mima tells the cold case cops that her husband and Javi killed a man to steal 5 kilos of cocaine from him.
She took us to this location where she remembered this individual to work at, and she just gave us all the events surrounding the death of the person that no one really knew about. This is the building where Mima and Misael Cordero lived in the second-floor apartment.
I was making meal for my husband, and he bring friend over.
His friend got a name?
I don't know. He work at Windmill.
She said that the person was a Hispanic male. He was approximately early to mid-30s. And she even stated that she fed him spaghetti sauce with beans. How's your kid doing?
After the feast, her common-law husband, along with the victim, goes into the living room where they sit down and have a discussion. And the second suspect shows up, who she described as Javier.
The individual, along with Javi and Mr. Cordero, went into the basement of that location.
I was finishing dishes.
Then that's when Mima heard a gunshot.
We weren't sure if this information was factual information or just something that she had manufactured just to draw our attention away from her. However, we're homicide detectives, and if someone comes to us and tells us about a murder, then we have to go out and either confirm it or disprove it.
We got to approximately 3 feet in this first room. However, we did not find the body at that time.
Now, the detectives try to get the landlord to show them where they should dig next.
You say, listen, just give us a little help, because we don't want to tear your whole basement up. And he denied it.
Look, there's nothing here,
But at some point in time during our conversation, he moved to a certain area of the basement, and he stood there with his arm folded like this, and he looked at his feet and said, I have no idea where the body is. Once he got back upstairs, I told our diggers, let's dig where he stood at and pat his feet.
Our second attempt was in the other room on the other side of the wall.
We almost gave up at one point. We figured, well, either we hit the wrong spot or maybe it's the wrong house. We were about to end it, and I said, no, let's dig a little bit more. And we dug a little bit more, and we found a shoestring hanging out of the dirt.
And at that point, the excavation stops, and we begin taking measurements, photographs, and recording exactly what we have found.
That's why you need people that know what they're doing, because we could have missed that. I mean, just a shovel full of dirt could have covered that shoelace, and we would have missed it. The bottom line is you'll never know where a cold case is going to take you.
Then the excavation team uncovers a large piece of fabric.
It was my job really to go down into the grave and slowly excavate, remove soil from around this fabric to see what it would lead us to. Underneath the partition wall, the body was wrapped in a mattress pad and left intact.
Donna Fontana was really key in the retrieving of this body. And through her persistence, we were able to remove the remains and gently transport the body to the medical examiner's office.
The following morning, Donna Fontana examines the remains. It is her job to make a positive identification through the bones.
Because I had a full skeleton, you get pretty much 99% certainty, 100% certainty as to the sex and the age and the ancestry of this person. And I had determined that this was a Caucasian male, maybe a little bit of racial mixture. My examination of the body was, I believe, consistent with who that individual was.